Can we call the meeting to order? Good afternoon. I'd like to call a meeting to order, this special library board meeting for March 6th, 2025, here at the Library Services Center. I'm Ray Biederman. Can we have a call of the roll?
Yes, Mr. Biederman.
Present.
Dr. Murtada.
Present.
Dr. Palacio.
Present.
Dr. Payne.
Present.
And Dr. Riolo.
Present.
We do have a quorum.
Thank you very much. The chair recognizes a quorum. So the purpose of today's meeting is to receive just some information generally about the current landscape with regard to different legislation that is happening both at the state and federal level, just to keep us all abreast of that information. In addition to that, we wanted to discuss possibly having a structure by which the executives of the board continue to receive information from other sources, so we can continue to monitor the changing landscape and see what, if any, discussion points there would need to be that arise from any changes in legislation or legislative policy based on current things that we are seeing both at the state and federal level. With that, I'd like to just introduce our counsel to help, who's just taken a general overall view of the different legislative initiatives that are at play. This is not legal advice by any means. This is purely just an informational meeting for us to receive some information. So with that, I'd turn it over to Mr. Brown. Thank you very much.
Thank you. As Ray said, our goal today was, there's been a lot of conversation around state and federal statements, executive orders, proposed legislation that's occurred over the last 6 weeks, 8 weeks. And many things have been brought to the attention of library staff, of you as board members, and so our goal today was to at least address what we think is out there and what we would hope to, how we'd hope to deal with it going forward. So Mike Maxwell from our office is here as well, and Mike has done a pretty exhaustive kind of analysis of current statements, current executive orders, and we can just, I think the best advice we can say is that it's kind of a moving target, an evolving situation. You have a federal executive order issued by President Trump that references a variety of topics, none of which appear to be directly impactful to the library at this point. The second is you have a state-level executive order from Governor Braun, which has a similar tone, but again, at this point, does not appear to be directly impactful to the library's operations. There are pieces of legislation moving through the state legislative session that could be, in their current form, could be impactful to the library and other municipal entities, public entities. That's pending legislation. So we will treat it as pending legislation, and there's no actions that need to be immediately taken, but we will continue to track that, as I know other organizations that the library is affiliated will do as well. So if and when those become law, there may need to be adjustments or additional steps that the library needs to take to be in compliance with that potential litigation or potential legislation. I think our purpose in doing this initially was to talk about, are there any immediate steps that the library needs to take? And I think that our advice currently is, at this point, no. We will continue to work to track as additional guidance is given, as additional legislation occurs, and I think the goal today was to how do you as board members who have much wider community nets than perhaps we all do, how do you continue to funnel that to each other, to us as legal counsel, to staff, so that we're aware of what other similar organizations might be doing, as well as what you become aware of. You have resources that we don't all have, and so I think we would just encourage, as you receive those communications, whether that's through other board participation, through other professional organizations, please share them with us. As you experience what other organizations are doing in reaction, that would be helpful as well. I know, Dr. Murtada, you have a very active active in the university setting and education setting, and Dr. Payne as well. Those continue to be similar treated organizations, but not directly analogous. And so I think our goal would be to continue to try to accumulate information as it comes along, and then advise accordingly. And if and when we need to make adjustments or suggest adjustments, we can do that, and we would reconvene as appropriate. But I think the goal here was initially, maybe had a little different goal, but I think as things have evolved, to just at least lay out that this is something we're tracking, something to continue to be aware of, and at current, we're tracking some state legislation that could be impactful to the library. So, anything additional that you wanted me to share from our conversations?
So as far as where things stand currently, it seems that we want to make sure that everyone hearing information from their own spheres of influence and communities, make sure that they bring that to the board so we can have the most robust discussion that we can, to make sure that we are staying true to our goals and initiatives, and also understanding the legislative landscape and the impact that decisions that we would make as a governing body would have on the changes in that landscape. So just to reiterate, if we are getting information or hear different things because things are moving at such a fast pace, making sure that the officers of the board are made aware of that, and that would also come from any other source that there may be as well. We just wanted to reiterate that we're open. We want to hear that. We want to be responsive, and want to make sure that everyone feels comfortable sharing that information.
It is obviously a changing landscape. We've seen in the last 3 weeks different communications coming out from different departments, and so some of it formal, some of it informal, some of it appears to be fluid as we move through. And so I think that we wanted to make sure the board was aware of how we would propose to deal with it, and propose to just accumulate that information as we move forward.
Excellent. So with that, are there any questions, comments from the board? I wanted to make sure that we had an opportunity to have that sort of question session occur.
I have no question.
Excellent. Yep. Dr. Palacio. I'm glad.
Thank you.
I was worried you might not have a question.
I always have a question, but maybe it's a comment. So I think I agree that it's very fluid, it's high speed. It's like watching a train go so fast, like high-speed train, and trying to catch up. So I agree with the approach of having this open dialogue, starting this conversation, having a feedback loop, especially since it seems like there's a lot of definitions up in the air right now. Maybe in the past, things were defined. With every transition, there is always a redefinition of many things. So we've had transition at the state level, transition at the federal level. So it's expected that we have transitions. This transition is going super fast. So I completely agree with, okay, let's take our time to absorb, to listen. Those conversations, debates, the State House, for example, Senate Bill 289, there was a lot of conversation, debate, and Q&A about even a simple thing is, what does DEI mean? What is diversity? author of the bill said that he appreciates diversity and wants diversity in the state. There's just one example. We could be hours talking about this, like they did. But I like this approach of listening, having those conversations, maybe pausing certain things until we have clarity, because at the end of the day, we want to be compliant and have everybody fit within that compliance with the law. So that's my comment. Thanks.
Excellent, thank you. Great comment. Any other comments? Okay, well, with that, I think we can probably adjourn unless there's any other business before this special meeting. Okay, well, we are adjourned at 12:13. Thank you.
Thank you.